A Russian soldier made his final choice and pulled the pin from a grenade, the metal ring slipping free as a heavy silence closed in around him. In Pokrovsk region, approximately 50 Russian soldiers surrendered as Ukrainian forces regained control of the town. The area was officially liberated today following coordinated advances. The surrender marked a significant shift, signaling both tactical success and growing pressure on occupying units. After surviving an initial strike, a Russian soldier fled across open ground toward a nearby building. He never looked back. A Ukrainian FPV drone stayed just out of sight, trailing him through corridors of dust and broken glass. Inside a small empty room, the soldier radioed for help, unaware that the door behind him remained open. That mistake was enough. The drone entered without resistance. One last transmission, then silence. In drone warfare, even forgetting to close a door can become the final error. In an open field, a Russian soldier lay in the grass as an approaching drone drew closer. He fired in desperation, but the drone continued its dive. The first strike did not finish him. A second drone followed, completing the task. Near the riverbank, another soldier hidden in a brush was targeted and struck. Nearby, a third soldier panicked and fled toward another patch of cover. But the sky was not empty. A separate drone intercepted him before he could disappear. Two Russian soldiers moved cautiously through a ruined settlement. When they noticed a drone approaching, they rushed into the nearest structure for cover. But the drone didn't stop. It adjusted course, slipped through a broken window, and followed them inside. Moments later, the building shook. Dust rose. The hiding place became the strike zone. In drone warfare, walls offer little protection once you're already marked. In the Velika Pisarivka area of Sumy region, an armed escort group of Russian soldiers attempted to evacuate a wounded comrade across an open field. As they moved cautiously through the tall grass, a Ukrainian FPV drone targeted the last man in the formation. The strike sent the group into immediate disarray. Moments later, a second drone approached. Panic took hold. Most of the escort abandoned the stretcher and fled in different directions. Only 2 soldiers remained behind, returning fire in a brief effort to defend the wounded. After the air cleared, they lifted the stretcher and continued forward alone in the field. Drone ambushes disrupt cohesion, forcing retreat and splitting formations even during casualty evacuation. A Russian assault group had taken cover inside a building near the front. Moments later, an FPV drone entered through a shattered window and struck. The structure collapsed into dust and steel. Seconds passed. From the rubble, several soldiers emerged, dazed but alive. They didn't get far. A second drone arrived with unshaken precision, completing what the first had started. No second chances in close quarters drone warfare. Under a tree near the front line, a Russian soldier sat in restless silence, nervous, isolated. A moment later, an FPV drone descended and struck with precision. Nearby, a few others had already understood what was coming. Without a word, they lay flat faces to the ground, awaiting the inevitable. No movement, no resistance, only the hum of the drone filling the stillness. From a distance, an FPV drone closed in and spotted a lone Russian soldier walking along a dirt road. The drone circled, confirming its target, then shifted into attack position. Sensing the threat, the soldier raised his rifle and opened fire, but the rounds missed. Panic set in. He turned and began to run, stumbling across the uneven path. As the drone drew nearer and with no options left, he threw his rifle toward it in a final desperate gesture. But steel and instinct were no match for guidance and speed. The pursuit did not stop. A Russian soldier was spotted fleeing from an abandoned warehouse, attempting to reach a nearby house for cover. But a Ukrainian FPV drone was already in pursuit. As the drone closed in, the soldier hesitated, choosing not to enter the house, but instead sprinting along its outer wall, hoping to escape along the edge. It was a miscalculation. The drone accelerated, caught up, and struck him mid-run. Stunned from the initial blast, he collapsed. Seconds later, a second drone arrived and completed the strike. The entire engagement was a display of drone persistence, angle control, and the unforgiving speed of aerial pursuit in urban terrain. In the Lyman area, an FPV drone locked onto a Russian soldier moving alone across open terrain. Realizing he was being followed, the soldier broke into a sprint, glancing over his shoulder in panic. But the drone maintained distance and adjusted course with precision. Seconds later, the pursuit ended. The target was neutralized. Not far from the scene, 2 additional Russian soldiers were traveling separately on motorcycles along the same route. As they moved through the area, a second FPV drone approached from above and struck the rider trailing behind. The lead motorbike kept moving, while the rear one crashed in silence, another reminder of how drone operators exploit separation and timing to dismantle enemy movement. In the Lyman direction, a fiber optic FPV drone locked onto a Russian soldier riding a motorcycle. The chase ended abruptly, intercepted from behind. Nearby, next to a crumbling house, panic unfolded as another drone pursued a fleeing group. One soldier lagging behind was struck. Seconds later, deeper in the woods, a vehicle attempted to escape, but was intercepted before reaching cover. There was no safe direction, only exposure. Fiber optic drones offer unmatched responsiveness, especially when terrain and latency decide who escapes and who doesn't. In the Pokrovsk direction, Ukraine's 16th Artillery Brigade of the National Guard identified and destroyed a Russian D-30 howitzer using precise counter-battery fire. The strike was guided by aerial reconnaissance and timed to target the gun crew shortly after firing, minimizing the enemy's ability to relocate or return fire. In the Pokrovsk direction, a Russian soldier surrendered to Ukraine's 4th Operational Brigade Rubizh and brought with him an unexpected offering, a downed heavy bomb-dropping drone, previously used by Russian forces. The surrender took place without resistance, and the captured equipment was immediately secured for analysis. In the forested sector along the Sumy-Kursk axis, a camouflaged Russian armored vehicle attempted to remain hidden beneath dense tree cover, but its position was uncovered by a fiber optic FPV drone operated by Ukraine's 1st Heavy Mechanized Brigade. Once locked onto the target, it accelerated and struck the vehicle, delivering a decisive blow. The concealment was breached not by chance, but by controlled persistence and eyes that never blink. Ukrainian soldiers from the GUR Main Directorate of Intelligence released new footage showcasing their operations in the Lyman and Zaporizhia directions. Using a combination of unmanned ground vehicles, UGVs, and aerial drones, UAVs, they successfully targeted and eliminated Russian personnel and equipment across multiple engagement zones. The coordinated use of land and air robotics enabled precise strikes while minimizing risk to frontline forces. Each target was confirmed via surveillance feeds before being engaged, underscoring the growing role of autonomous systems in shaping real-time battlefield outcomes. Southeast of the village of Oleksandrograd, Russian forces launched an assault on a Ukrainian military position, capturing several Ukrainian soldiers in the process. In response, Ukrainian troops initiated a counterattack, moving swiftly to reclaim the area. The operation involved clearing fortified shelters and trench networks where hostages were believed to be held. Room by room, position by position, they neutralized the attackers and successfully freed their captured comrades. The counter-assault restored control of the sector and demonstrated Ukraine's rapid response capabilities under pressure. A group of Russian soldiers equipped with anti-drone camouflage moved cautiously across open ground, relying on visual disruption to avoid detection. But above them, a Ukrainian FPV drone locked on unfazed by the fabric shielding. It tracked their formation-adjusted altitude, then dove directly into their center. The strike neutralized the entire group. In the Donetsk region, near the Kostiantynivka direction, Ukrainian border guard forces from the Phoenix unit carried out a highly effective operation. Utilizing a combination of surveillance and strike assets, they destroyed one Russian T-62 tank, 3 vehicles, 1 ATV, and an electronic warfare system Shtora. In the same engagement, more than 30 enemy personnel were neutralized. The scale and precision of the strike not only halted the enemy's movement, but significantly degraded their mobility and electronic capabilities in the sector. In the forested outskirts near Kremenna, Ukraine's special forces from the Korshun unit launched a series of FPV drone operations targeting Russian personnel and equipment. One by one, logistics trucks, defensive emplacements, and isolated infantrymen were identified, tracked, and neutralized with cold precision. Each strike revealed careful coordination between reconnaissance and strike teams. The mission wasn't about firepower, it was about timing, terrain, and control. This operation highlights the growing importance of real-time drone coordination in modern, asymmetric warfare. On October 22nd in Pokrovsk, Ukrainian command sent a Max Pro armored vehicle from the 68th Jaeger Brigade into contested territory. The mission: evacuate a wounded civilian trapped in a mined zone under Russian fire. But before extraction, the vehicle made a deliberate sweep circling the area to detonate hidden explosives and clear a safe path. Only then did it return to pick up the civilians and head toward safety. In high-risk zones, it's not just bravery, it's methodical action that makes rescue possible. Mine clearing under pressure turns evacuation from chance into certainty through armored precision and timing. In the Zaporizhia direction, a drone operator from Ukraine's 422nd UAS Battalion noticed something unusual. A local cat wandered into view, then paused, staring into the distance. Moments later, a Russian unmanned ground vehicle appeared, moving along a concealed route. Using the feline's line of sight as an accidental cue, the operator adjusted position, locked on, and launched. The ambush was a success. In asymmetric warfare, sometimes even nature plays its part, not by design, just by being there. In a rare stroke of luck, a Russian kamikaze drone struck a Ukrainian troop transport but failed to detonate. The vehicle jolted from the impact, but the warhead remained silent. Ukrainian soldiers quickly dismounted and secured the area without injury. Technology misfired. Timing spared them. In a battlefield defined by precision, this moment belonged to chance. A Ukrainian fiber optic drone hovered silently near a partially collapsed building. Thermal imaging revealed faint movement inside. One Russian soldier had taken cover deep within the rubble, assuming the structure would mask his presence. But the drone adjusted its approach, slipped through the fractured walls, and struck with precision. Over the past 24 hours, Ukraine's Rayrog drone team has systematically hunted isolated Russian soldiers across multiple sectors. Those moving alone without cover or coordination were marked from above and neutralized with silent precision. In forests, alleys, and abandoned structures, the pattern repeated. Movement without support became a death sentence. The message was clear. In this battle space, there is no safety in solitude. Drone warfare punishes fragmentation. Alone is not stealth. Alone is visible. To safeguard a key oil refinery, local authorities in Dagestan deployed a small-caliber air defense and electronic warfare system in the city of Makhachkala. The installation aimed to intercept incoming aerial threats, but inadvertently contributed to the crash of at least one Ukrainian UAV into a civilian structure. The incident underscores the risks of deploying military-grade countermeasures in densely populated areas, where misdirected or disrupted drones can pose unintended hazards beyond the intended defense zone.